Hey, what's up FragPunkers? I wanted to share some tips and tricks that I've learned on Chum. If you're new and looking to unlock a new character, I highly suggest Chum. Chum is my favorite character and was the first character I leveled up to 25. Chum is really strong and one that can dish out a ton of damage and get kills if used correctly. Let's discuss his abilities. But before I discuss his main ability Chomper, I want to discuss his other two abilities, which are a bit easier to understand and more straightforward. The first ability is its explosive bait. It's easy to use. Put it down, set it, forget it, and hope your opponent runs into it. This is great for post plants or getting some information if the enemies run into it, but it's also great for when the enemy destroys it if you can notice it when it disappears on your radar. But you should know the mine doesn't activate through AoE, but only if the line is tripped. So it's good to put on doorways or tight spots that the enemy might run into. His second ability is a smoke bait. This is great for cutting off angles or slowing your opponent down when you feel a push is incoming. But you should know the smoke is easily countered with grenades or a burner. Now let's get into his main ability, Chomper. Chomper is Chum's pet, and the pet has three ways to be used. The first one is just a pet that runs up to your opponent and does minimal damage. This, in my opinion, is a last resort and should only be used if you have no more abilities at hand. The second use case is putting an explosive bait in him. When Chum senses an enemy, he will charge at him and blow up, thus taking about half of your enemy's health. This is a great way to A, dish out a ton of damage and get the upper hand, B, get a sense of where your opponents are, and C, if you lose the fight, Chomper can finish off the enemy and maybe kill from the grave. His last ability is a very case-by-case scenario and a bit harder to use, but if you put the smoke bait in Chomper, you can control where it goes, push up with the smoke, and play a little sneaky. This is great if you don't have a good smoke angle, but want to set up a smoke to get to tougher spots or surprise your opponent by hiding in the smoke. But be warned, when using this ability, you put your gun away, allowing you to be pretty vulnerable to engagements. Next, I want to talk about Chum's strengths and weaknesses. Chum is excellent if you play up close with an SMG or a shotgun. Now, the reason I say to play up close is because Chomper is able to sense enemies around corners or through smokes. As you can see here, I'm put in a very tough spot where I'm being pushed in a 1v3 situation. Fortunately, I take the first two down in a straight up fight, but then I am pushed by Hollow Point. Because I am low on health, I throw my smokes to slow her down and retreat. Chomper did half damage through the smoke, and I've opted to use my other Chomper because I don't want to take the fight head on. Luckily for me, Hollow Point basically smoked herself off with her smokescreen ability. Because of this, I play kind of close and Chomper finishes her off and I win the round. Now Chum's glaring weakness is his pet, because it makes a lot of noise. If you try to play sneaky and wrap your opponents, he does suffer from Chomper's walking as you can hear him tip-tap around. Now you can pull two Chompers out if your ability refreshes mid-round, but say you're hiding behind a box, the second Chomper sometimes just runs around near you, which can give away your position. Because the AI of Chomper isn't the greatest, I usually opt to only having one out.
Good gadget.
Also, Chum's weakness are certain maps and certain sites. You want to play sites that have a lot of corners so Chomper can hunt its prey. Some sites have long sniper hallways that don't work in his favor. I would suggest avoiding these angles and sites. I want to go over a few rounds where I'm using Chum to the best of my ability. In this round, I am playing A's site, a long sniper hallway that doesn't work in Chum's favor. But I am hoping to get a little bit of information and play slowly and let the opponents run into me rather than me trying to challenge them. Early in the round, I hear Zephyr use her ability from afar, so I take a few shots hoping to make a few hit markers.
Didn't think I had it in me, did you?
Unfortunately, I get none, but because I know she used her ability, she may have pushed up to the boxes to the right or to the left. I choose to look to the right, as that is safer to cover one angle than possibly cover three that the opponent might be at. I didn't realize she teleported back, so I sit a bit longer holding this position. I decide to play a little aggressive here, which looking back at it might not have been the best strategy. But I win my engagement and help even it out to be a 4v4. Still unsure where Zephyr is, I go back to holding the right box and checking short A. Lucky for me, I catch an opponent on short A and do a little damage. I choose to get up close around this corner so I can get Chomper to do some damage. Lucky for me, Chomper senses danger and gets a kill for me. I decide to retreat back into A main, but I run into Zephyr. She gets the best of me here. But this is a perfect example of playing close, not engaging, and letting Chomper do some damage. Here's another round where I'm in a 3v2 bomb-planted situation. I decide to teleport back to our spawn, and I see my teammates pushing through the B-side door. This is allowing us to sandwich our enemies and hopefully catch them off guard. I take a long walk from spawn, not trying to give away my position and timing to when I may be coming up on the site. I take a 1v1 fight and win it, but because my teammate died, I got a good idea where she is because she flashed on my radar. But to be sure, I hug this corner here for a moment, hoping Chomper will charge around this close angle and find Pathogen. Chomper doesn't go around the corner, so I know she hasn't rotated close to me. So I ready my crosshair where I last saw her on the radar and take the engagement and win the round. This is a good example of using Chomper and knowing that because he didn't charge, I have a better understanding on where my opponent may be.
Pretty small now, huh?
2 is a perfect number for 2 best friends.
I hope these tips and tricks for Chum has helped you have a better understanding on how to play my favorite character. If you want to see more of this, please like, subscribe, and comment below. Thank you for watching.